I'm not actually tuned in right now, but what I'm associating is this little button here. You see, there's, in 360 degrees, there is exactly 8 times 45 degrees. 45 degrees is a full angle of counting of 1 to 9, which fits inside the number grid, which equals to 45, which is 1 part or 1/4, which is 45 degrees times 8. You need 8 of them to make a completion. But we don't run 8, because the system is made up of the earth, in which has its earth, wind, and fire, and that's all one package. And God, He has the recipe for the growth of all. But the evil beings, they have their piece, and they know how they built us into who we are, and they have the element to scratch in our brains, but we're the ones who make the last scratch. But as society moves on over time and we get cell phones and this, I can't make it right now. I'm on my phone. When I get off my phone, I'm watching my show. I need to get back to my show. I want to take the car into the driveway, into the garage, and somebody else will fix it while I'll wait and do nothing, rather than getting on the horse, going into the stable and saying, "Hey, stablemate, how are you today?" Put a hand on the back of the horse and start going. And as the horse gallops, her chest sticks out and the big nostrils so she can get her energy like the bull. And run the rivers and rapids down through Colorado River. The horse don't know where it's going unless you guide her. She'll run all over the place. They look wild, but they're free. The great big nostrils of the horse. The man blows out his nose to the left and to the right, but it's in between that things go straight. Hitler's mustache, he cut the 2 sides off. He didn't want the left and he didn't want the right. He took the center. He took the bull by its horns. When we grow out through respiration, okay, we end up doing this. C, C, and C. Do you see the way we get 1x here? Then we create the X here, and we create the Y, and then we create the C, and then we create the O, but it's all horseshoes. Right now we have a horseshoe around our neck. And in the front of our neck, it's like the cushion you give the child. It's called the butterfly gland, the thyroid gland. They dictate messages through the thyroid gland, through the hemorrhoid gland. And anything that's a roid is an android. And it's vibrating to you and it's talking to you. It's not like the Bélier, who has the horns coming out on each side of his face, and the 2 worlds that he blows out is the decision he makes. And he opens his mouth and he sticks out his tongue like Michael Jordan, and he jumps up into the air, into the universe, to slam dance that basketball. Because if you really take apart the basketball, it's flat and it makes the 8. They make 8 with 11. 11 is only because you stretched out the distance between the curves of the universe. Here's the 2 parts of the nose. It's actually number 3, because these are the horns of the total of 5. And when you add up 5, 1 plus 2 is 3, plus 3 is 6, plus 4 is 10, plus 5 is 15. So this one gets 15. And you get 15 yards for a big penalty when you play football. 15 is the J and E, meaning I of I am, je is the word for inside the game. When you have a 0 in any sense at any place, and you draw the 1 line inside a 0, you automatically break that 0 in half, and if it is round, you make double D's. And double D's means space, 1 D for one world, and 1 D for the other world. You come in and you split, 1 to the right, and 1 to the left. You come into the center of the world, set them up, let me see if my soul and spirit can meet one day. From in the water world, from in here, when I feel no good in my heart here, and the teardrops of the falls that fall between my eyes, of the breath I take and I exalt. 1 exhalation through the mouth, 2 split between the nose, because we're made up of more than 1. We are not here at all. We're from somewhere else. We are a contact. But in this body we come to grow and to live into this planet. We say, take our memories away from us, because they took nothing away from us. We had no memories of Earth, and everything we needed to know was how to guide ourselves down a straight path. But the path is no longer straight. It's detours, and it's detours because we're all doing something wrong. Yesterday it wasn't a law, today it is a law. They put you in jail because they just want to put you away. It just turns things upside down and turn men into women. and we all become lemons. Lemon grinds, the yellow and the green, and we grind it out. Why? Because when you go towards, in French they say vers. Vers is to go towards. It also says green, and green life means to advance. It means to grow with the yellow, to go with the down and the up. And then there's the red of the blood and the roar of the piss that pisses on your pineal gland. I don't know how it actually works, but they put a cover on top of that gland so you don't feel the piss. It's like a condom. So when you take Viagra, it takes the cover off the pineal gland, and all of a sudden you get so excited you stand straight up and you're ready to look for the next thing to go. It's curved off to one side, your penis. Why? Because it's turned up to the side that you need to vision on. You're on one side, it's on the other side. And then when you have sex, it's completely different. You must see that there is a division between the two worlds. When you have sex, it's like you blank everything out and you're completely into love of getting something done that you really want to do because you're going to have an explosion. And then after that, you're so tired. But in life, without sex, the only time we explode is when we're screaming at each other. When we can't actually stand and say, okay, I'm ready to listen to you, but I don't understand. So I'm going to sit here and you're going to explain it to me, and if you don't want to, I will have to leave. We must exalt ourselves. We must not let the breath stay stuck in us, because with every breath that stays stuck, we cannot cry, because and we can't cry, we can't exalt, to speak, to talk about the things we need to speak about. In my world, I need to do my numbers. I need to express what the numbers are. I need to share what the numbers are. I'm very cramped up right now. Right now, I have a scale of pi. Do you know how many ways there are to do it? Not very many. And some of them just questionable. But right now, I multiply pi by 3, I multiply pi by 4, I multiply it by 5, but it only cuts it in half. I multiply it by 6, I can multiply it by 8, and it's always going to give me something in a different house. Then I'll add it, bring it to the 7 world, bring it to the 10 world, bring it to the 13 world, and to understand that when you're in the 7 world, when you're between all the worlds, you're actually in the 7 worlds. Because 6 up, only 6 up, because in between is 6 in the fingers, and God comes to each end of who you are. 1 to 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 3, 2, 1, 4, and 3, and 2, and 1 is 10. And 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 is 10. You have 4 in each hand, and your butterfly bats come out to hold each other's hand, and you got 10 up. 1 on this side, 1 on the other side. You think they stay this way for nothing? It doesn't look? Look what it looks like. What does this look like in between my hand? It's not me. It's what it is. We were born this way. We have to have the reason of why it would do this. It does this with 2 palms and 4 fingers, and the 1 palm gets your thumbs. We come into the world to understand what Mui is all about. Mui is love. Fichier is what you have to say. And if you look at the thing over here, this is what it's all about. It's the jack. It's the balance between the 2 sides of jack left and jack right. Jack left and he didn't do it right, so he's coming back again. He was put on the cross as a halo. They called him a rose, but the rose had pricks, and he knew if he had the pricks, he could bust any buster who came over, because buster or bubble, it's all the same. You just put the U. It's just like in French, they say E and they say I, E-I-E-I-O. They say the E and the I because from E to A is the same distance from E to I. And if the good old Lord, He is the vowel of life, He is A-E and A-E and I is 1 and 5 and 9, which equal to 15. 15 equals to the letter O, which is now 15, and the letter O is 15. You have 30. Now all of a sudden the 1 and 5 within the 30, you add the 1 and the 5 up because you already did them, and you got 36. Now you have C and F, the face of the crestation. C, C, and C. 3, 3, and 3. I give up this 3, and I give up this 3 for this one to be the birth of 9. If he's the birth of 9 of 3, 3, and 3, then he must get 3 more for the totality of the answer of the left and the right and the answer. So he becomes 9 and 12. he becomes 9 and 12. And that's the top part of Rubik's Cube and the around. Now that he becomes 9 and 12, you now can go to the next sector. When you go to the next sector, you now pass the birth. You get 2 into the beta world, 2 for the sandbox of Mars, and 2 for the brains of Earth, in which actually it's 4 and 3. So how much did we have before? We had 21. Then we get Mars 4 for the sandbox to put our prism of brain inside the 3, which makes now number 27. Even though we had 3 before, there has to be a brain in every action that we go up. So 3 and 4 make 7, from 21 is 28. Now we have the 28 days of the moon and time heaven. 88 is the world that we live. 88 equals to 47. We take 47 multiplied by space, and we end up with 2068. 2068, 6 and 8 is 14, makes 2014. But it's not at the end of 2014, because everything at the end is over. When we stand in whatever we do, when you jump to the left, you jump to the left. But when you jump to the right, if there's no more space and you jump right off, you fall off the boat. The boat is only so wide, you can back up, back up, back up. You can go forward and forward and forward. But each one, the Rubik's Cube, has 1, 2, 3. So you must move to the left to make sure you are centered before you go to the right, or you can be off the ship. Give me any number. 62, 6 and 2 is 8. Right away I know. 2, 5 and 8 on the telephone, that's where your 8 is. Any number under 100. Because every other number will lift you up 1 number. If you have 92, that's 11. I know it's number K. When you do the piano, and I came up with the codes for the piano, and I add them up, when I go to the first one in A, I take A. When I go to the second letter, okay, whatever letter it's going to be, it's on the second level. When I go to C, the third letter, it's going to be on the third level. So when I get that on the third level, I can go on the third level of anything I want, almost. Because sometimes Y is the Y between, it's a circle and a Y in between, because it's connecting 2 sides. It's a passage. The passage is at O, and then between Z and A is another passage, in which I'm questioning myself if ZY doesn't show up with YZY, and then we go X, W, V, U, T, S, R, Q, and then we stop. Why do we stop at Q? Because in the piano it says stop. If you go below Q, you're below 1 and 7, you're at 1 and 6. And 1 and 6 is not 1 and 7, we're 1 and 6. God takes his 1 spirit with his 7, he goes over, takes his 1 spirit, he says, okay, I'm in the 7th gate. And then Beta gets up with her sandbox and shape, because Beta's this. She's a woman. She's got V's all over the place, and you know what V is in French? It's life. So you get your Vita, and your Vita goes to your gates. And she goes to the Bill Gates with the 1, and she becomes the 3 strand. But in her strands as she walks, she's actually 28 to begin with. Why? Because 1 to 7 equals 28. And then when the 2 goes over to the 7th gate, 2 and 7 make 9. Now 1 and 7 made 8, and 2 and 7 make 9. Now when we go for 2 and 7 and 1 and 8, when we go for the 1 and 2 and 8 and 9, the 7th gate is over here. We have 3, 6, 5. They make the passage 4, 7. You automatically need this 4 and this 9 for your 13. Now when this goes away, you go 1, 2. Add 2, you become 6, and you take off 9 over here, and you take off 3, because this is for 2, and this is for 3. If you take off 2, you become with God, you become 7 and 6, and there's your 13. 4 and 9 is your 13. 8 and 5 is the 13 of your mind. It's the reflection of the matrix spirit and how your mind works. 8 times 5 is 40. 8 plus 5 is 13. 40 plus 13 is 53, but this number gets an 8. Because 4 says 2 here, 2 here, 2 here, and 2 here. Because when they make it, they must connect this, and they must connect this. This is what makes your lantern for Jack-o'-lantern in the middle of the night. At the same time, it spreads out with wings on the top, and it's a propeller that 1 and 2 keeps getting 3, because 1 and 2 is 3. So when we make this setup, okay, the numbers we get on this one direction is 1. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Everything disappeared. Wow, you don't know what just happened. Wow, that was really freaky. So you get this one over here, and then this 2, then you get this over here, and then you get this over here, 8 and 9 and 1 and 2. And you get 7, and you get 4, and you get 5, and you get 3, 6. So you end up with 3, 65, 47. When you use the 88 that our world is built on, and in between here is a design that looks like this star, the Pontiac star. It's a little birdie, okay, or it's a little mouse that goes in here. It looks like a drunk mouse. But this 88 is not me. You need the 4 islands that connect to make one. You need the power, you need the brain, you need your sex, you need everything that goes in it. So these 4 go in one. So this equals 20, this one equals 20, this one equals 20, this one equals 20. 2, 4, 6, 8, 20, 40, 60, 80, 88. Now you have the center one, which totals to a minimum of 25. 98, 108, 113. If you add up 1 to 13, it equals to 91, which is 7 times 13 equals 91. 3 suits in the deck of cards of 13 cards equals 39 cards. 3 times 91, 273. Plus the 4, because you can't go anywhere unless you have 4 corners. When you have 4 corners, you have the spiral in the center, and you can now connect for the frequency. Except when it comes to Earth and Mars. Mars is the 4 corners, and Earth is the one that goes like this and cuts between the 2 up here, and then it goes like this and cuts between the 2 down here, and it looks like the mug and dove it. It becomes more or less like this. But there is nothing else. The only time the mug and dove it comes alive is when you're out of the worlds. These X's of the 7th gate, which is this way and this way, 7, and then it's this way and this way. When you put them together, it sets the hourglass of life. You turn it sideways, it's one word. You turn it the other way, it's the other world. Here's your diamond. Now here's your sad eyes that you're going into the game. You put up your ears, and you're ready to go. You have your big mouth with the McDonald's sign over there, and you're ready to transfer it. Give me a minute, I'm going to get a drink. I'm a little thirsty. I'm going to have myself a fruit drink. You know, what my biggest mistake in everything I'm doing is I do it all live. And if I would record it, I wouldn't have lost anything yet. But let me continue on with this. Now that we continued on with this, 273 plus 4 is 277. The 277th day, and in a leap year, 278. 7 in the 8th gate, 7 in the 7th gate, is October 4th. Of whatever year you want to choose. But obviously, when man comes in after he gets 1 and 2, which go with 1 and 2 that go with... When you get 1 and 2 that go at 8 and 9, how do we get it? We go to the 7th gate here, and we go to the 7th gate here. So we have 1 and 2, which is the letter L. With the letter G, you have L and G, you want it. In French, it's large, grand. This is what they speak in French. I told you before, 88 is Q, V, H, 17, 22, and 8, 30, 47. Since this is the game, this is the time. Also, when you play NFL football, they give you 100 yards. If you're using 3 and 3 for the field goal of each team, because the 6 makes the 6 points, and when you score it, you get the 1. Automatically, this is 47 on each side, which makes 94. Now that we have 94, it refers to back where we got 4 and 9 from before. This is the 4 corners of the 9th birth. You're 36. You end up living over here in 6. But when you live here in 6, you're not living here in 6. You're living here. In between the phone numbers, okay, there's a number here, there's a number here, there's a number here, and there's a number here. These numbers are 3, 4, 6, and 7, or 7 and 6. 3 and 4 is 7, you have 7, 7, 6. Then you have the cross. The cross is automatically 1 for 1,000, because you have 10, 10, 10 worlds. It makes 1,000 is 1776. The Einstein theory. This is the Einstein theory. Now we had 12 over here. We were talking about before it was 3, 65, 47. 47 is the time. Now what do we do? 6 and 5 is 30. 6 times 5 is 30, times 3 is 90. This is Valentine's Day between November 16th and February 14th. This is what's happening. There's two presidents of the same age. Planet X, okay, happens to do with Bill Clinton and George Bush, because they're both Planet X. They both have the number of Planet X. 2068, which was 44 times 47, if I correctly remember, is 2068. This 6 times 8 is 48 plus 14 is part of 622.6. What is 622.6? Well, Jesus Christ was born. 47 times 47, I figured, was Moses, which is 2209. Jesus is 33, because that's the number they gave him for those whole life, times 47 equals to 1551 plus 2206 is 3760. This is when the Gregorian calendar took over. 37 is the French, 60 is the time. The 0 actually goes to 8. We have 3768, and on this one we have 2068. 3768, and here we have 2068. Together we would have minus 17. We have 1700, right? You remember? But now we go back to 1, 2, 8, and 9, how it began. So we have to go 1, 2, 8, and 9. So we don't take the 1, 2, because now we've started everything. Now we take the 8 and 9. We get the 1789, and then we have George Washington, and the first president of the United States, 13 years after the inauguration, and 18 years after total, because of the angel resident. Who is the angel resident? It's inside your head. It's inside all your different senses. They have manipulated your senses, almost like putting a condom over you. That's why coffee grinds are very important. That's why it's better to drink this brown apple juice than to drink the regular apple juice. Somehow it's a golden shower every time you think. I don't know how it works. I don't know if it's the salt. I need to learn more about medical stuff. But right now I'm just working on the numbers. So we have this thing of Jesus. Barack Obama is the 44th and 43rd president. The minute Grover Cleveland came in, they automatically switched the system to one back and one forward, because Grover Cleveland, the minute he hits the 24th president, he's also part of the 23rd, and then he becomes the 22nd, and then he becomes the 21st. Why? Because he is the only one that was able to show how to move back in time. And this is a piano move, which is A, B, C, skip, count, D, E, F, G, A, count. I'm going to show you that in the next video how that works. So we come up with this whole thing here. Okay, and we end up, if you really take a look, okay, and you look at the Middle East, if you want to look at the Middle East, okay, the Middle East, okay, is a dog. Up here is Turkey. Okay, up here is Turkey. We know from Baghdad, okay, up here is Turkey. Over here, Syria. Over here, almost running down here, running the 7th gate. 7, 8, and 9. Right here is Israel, running the 7th gate. Then the rest of it is the dress of the Saudi Arabias. Now, this is Turkey. What was I going to say? Wow, and I thought I wasn't going to forget. So this is, oh yes, Baghdad. According to my numbers, okay, Baghdad, which this is, they needed somebody in that area to create something, and they knew if they went, according to my numbers, they knew if they went in, right, to Iran, they have a reason to, because the contract to build nuclear weapons was given to the Iranians. But it wasn't the Iranians. It was underneath the ground, and it was half of everybody else around the world working in these places building it. But it wasn't the Iranians building it. They just needed the space and the excuse, and then they came back to get their good old friend, Ben Laden. Wow, you should have just seen what my cat did. He just jumped 10 feet. I do not want to buy your fruits and vegetables that are put on the fields, the pig shit, the cow manure, that they manipulated the soya and the oats, and now whatever you use for fertilizer, it's not natural anymore because the pig shit and the cow manure and the chicken shit is no longer natural. So no matter what you go to buy, if they put anything at all, it ain't natural. But because of what they've done to the skies, now the water is no longer natural. But you know what? There's something in the air that we have, and we're so lucky, and it comes from the greatest of all creators. This is the Schnauzer dog. His long face. Turkey goes at the top. They get the hat. They rent it from Israel. When my great-grandfather came here from Russia and went to New York, they created something called the Hat Union. The Hat Union of the cat and the hat don't come back from Dr. Seuss, in which from that they built all the unions from New York all the way to California. They were in control of everything and any decision. If they wanted the workers go back to work, they came out with one law. If they didn't mind them staying up the other way, they didn't come out with any law. But they directed and they pushed, and that's what they did. They ruled. They've been ruling from day one. Who was it? Was it a Jew? Does it really matter? It was one who wanted to control. We don't care what the language is, because the only language that we should really understand is V for life, because that's what it means in French. V is life. 22, okay, is beta. It means I have mother and I have me. 2 and 2 is 4. 2 times 2 is 4. I'm automatically 8 with 2. I don't need any more. The minus sign, when you put it this way, and the plus sign when you put it this way. So first you minus, then you add. First you minus, then you add. But once you minus and you add, you can never be any further than the step you're in. The other thing I was going to do right now, let me see. I wanted to do a little code. Where's the code? Oh, there's so many numbers. Even ABC, Michael Jackson, 1, 2, 3. When you multiply Michael Jackson, ABC, 1, 2, 3, by 88, it becomes the year we're in. It's crazy. I mean, in the piano code, when you look at it, okay, the piano code is all about 777. Let me see if I can show you that code from supper tonight. Here's the piano code. 4152633625514. So what you do is you take first with last. Take first with last becomes 43. 1625 52 6134 7777777. What I did is I go ABC and I mark it. Then I go ABC but as DEF, and then I mark it. And then I keep on going. I take 3, and the fourth one I mark here. I take 3, and the fourth one I mark here. 777777. So what we do now is we take these 2 7s, and these 2 7s, and these 2 7s. Now we get 14 is 5, 14 is 5, 14 is 5. 5 times 5 times 5 is 125. Okay? Now I just showed you 2 minutes ago the Schnauzer dog, right? I just showed you the Schnauzer dog of 125. So now I'm going to make it a little bit more neater because I'm going to keep it in the book. Here's back the Schnauzer dog of 125. And 1, 2, 5 are your first 3 numbers. 512 megabyte your memory, because it's in the center of A and B, which creates the 3 of creation. The 1 and 2 go into the 5, and your mind is over here. All it has to do is contact. So we're 1, 2, 5, 8, 9. 1, 2, 5, 8, 9. 8 and 9 hold. 8 holds 4 times 2, and 9 holds 3 times 3. 4 is Mars. 3 is Earth. The other 3 and the other 2 is 2 times 3, 2 plus 3. 2 times 3 equals to the 6 of man that he returns to. From the 9 he goes to be 6, and 2 plus 3 equals the 5 of the 8 of the speed of the mind connecting. 8, 5, 5, 8. We do not get to see number 2. Number 2 is inside 8. It's 2, 4, 6, 8. It's a rotation. And we don't get to see beta. And if you take out the deck of cards, do I have a deck of cards here? I usually have a deck of cards here. But anyways, if you take out the deck of cards, once you take out the deck of cards, look at the 2 card and the 3 card. One part of the 3 card comes back, but the 2 card never plays again. If you look, it's too high, and nothing ever touches it, because they played 2 from the second level, which is the 5 level. It's 5, 8, 5, 5, 8, 5. It's the rotation of the matrix. Matrix. 13, 14. Why 13 and 14? Because of the 13 gods, 7 and 6, and the one spirit connect of who you are. You're just the one of the 6. You're 1 and you're 6, making the 7. You can't be 1 and 7 because God is the 1 and 7. You're 0 and 7. But if you're 0 and 7, 0 equals 5. 5 and 7 is 12. 1 and 2 is 3. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. Your man 6. Your man 6 on the right. Your man 6 on the left. 6 and 6 is 12. You have to be 6 in the center. That's 18. Plus the 6 and 6, so you're 12, 18, 12. So on the left you're 30, plus the right you're 30, you're 60. Now if you do it right, you become 12 and 18, you become 30. 3 times 2, because you're 3 parts of 2, don't 2, 4, 6, and 8, you become 36. 3 and 6 is your 9 birth, 3 times 6 is 18, the letter Resh. 3 plus 6 is the 9R, and those are the only 9 is the only one that only gets 2 letters in the alphabet, because when you reconnect the alphabet, you use the Y between Z and A, in which Zaya is coming home. So you would take Z, you flip it around, and you have YZY, and you're only going back to the letter Q. No further, you only go back to the letter QR. Actually, you only go back, to the letter Q. The only reason you're at the Q is because you're in the house of Q. 1 and 7 is 8. And then you're in the middle at the dog, 2 and 6. 1 and 7, 2 and 6. Go look at your debit machines. Number 1, that really doesn't have any numbers at all, it's right there. And those 2 numbers, the 43rd President of the United States is right down. 4 and 3 is Earth and Mars, which is the sandbox and the prism of a brain. Except they switch it upside down. When they switch the prism of the brain upside down, you actually end up with this charge. This charge over here becomes number 4. Over here becomes number 3. Over here becomes number 4. Over here becomes number 6. Over here becomes number 7. 7, 4. 3, 6. 3, 6, 7, 4. Right here. This is the 7th gate, and this is the 8th gate. You now make the hourglass of life. You make either go out to one world, or you go out to the other world. If this gateway opens, or her spirit connectors are locked. Once you have the V, you can just open up and put another V, and you continuation of the fish that are all swimming towards one point, which is the nose and the point of all decisions. Because when you finish this, and always expend your numbers, you're always going to get a tic-tac-toe board. And we're on the angle. We're on an angle, like this, the way the rain falls. We're not straight, so this ends up to be your bird. Now it's a spider. So you see over here, we get 12,589. Here we get 365 days of time 47. 7 times 4 is 28. 7 plus 4 is 11. 7 and 4 is G, and 4 is D. G-O-D. Now, if you want to go a little bit further, between 4, 5, 6, and 7, the 5.5 is here. 5.5 is 11. You have King God. 4 and 5 is 9. 5 and 6 is 11. 3 and 6 together, which would be the same thing as 7 and 4. 3 and 6, 9. 7 and 4, 11. Now, if we want to switch it around, we'll have 9 and 6, and then we'll have 1 and 4. So 9 and 6 is 15, 1 and 5 is 6, 1 is 5, and we have life as we know it right over here versus the clock. Raphael 7286 in the constellation of Pegasus. If you have any questions, do not hesitate. I did not do the piano in here, but I will come back and do it again. No, it wasn't even the piano I wanted to do. I wanted to do the DNA, but we're gonna do that in a minute. Yeah, there was one more piece I didn't do. See this here? This is the football field. The Budweiser sign. If you ever designed a Budweiser sign, you make all the numbers 147, and then you make 369. So you make 147. You make 1, and you're going to make 1 like this. Like that, and like that, and you make it like that. There we go. There's 1, 4, 7, 3, 6, 9. And here's your center of 2, 5, and 8. Okay? So how we make the Budweiser is we take it and we do this. And then we straight a straight line down here. And now you have your NZ. This says Zion. Just by doing this, it says Zion. Z, see, it's another row. So there's an air valve, just like in Dr. Mario, to go to the next row, 101. 101 is an air valve. It's a pipe. It's to go to the next level. It always shows you with the fish, right? So anyways, you do this. Now what you do is we're going to work this level over here. Now we're going to do this over here. Now we took the top row, and we're going to use the bottom row. And now we have the Budweiser beer. We took 1 and 4. We took 6 and 9. If we want to go the other way, we'll take 3 and 6 and 4 and 7. That's what Budweiser beer. It says creation face, go against time. That's this one here. When you do it this one over here, this says 1 and 4, the angel of God, and the birth of the spirit of the face of man. And that's what this one stands for. And that's why sometimes, you see this thing over here? Because this is always going to be like this. Because this is your rotation of your mind, 8 and 5, the speed of the matrix light. Why? Because it has to do with water. Water is 67, and your birth is 18, makes 85. 85 and 58 repeat the 1 and 2 angels for the reason that 2 in gematria is 85, and 58, 2 in gematria is 58, 85 is matrix, and 1 on the gematria tree of the angels, which is split. It's split. You have 1 and 19 making 20 for the one spirit of the moon of man. And then you have number 10, Jack, for Jack in the Box, which counts for 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10, because you get all the beta, plus you get the sandbox in your own mind to play, so you have to count her, plus now you're a piece of the action. So you count her, so you go 2, 4, 6, and 8. What was I saying? Hold on a second. Wow. Just give me a second. You had beta, 2, 4, 6, and 8, and 10. Okay, you had 1 and 19. 1 and 19 equals 20. And the other way you had 10, and you had 10 and 28. 28 is BTH. You know when they say Sobetha? Well, it's because the S comes from here, and the O comes from here, and the B comes from here. It's S-O-B, right here. And it's S-O-B-A. T-H, Sobatha. That's what they say to the Lord, and it has to do with the angels. 2 black, 2 red. This becomes 38, but this becomes an automatic 5 because it's a low. It's a low. It's 1 and 9, 10. So you have to get the passage. You have to get the passage. So you get 5. 38 and 5 is 43. This is Barack Obama. This is the sand trap. And this is your mind. The prism your mind is in. This one gets 20. It's an additional. This is in the second section of 10. So in this section, because you add this, you now put 24. This would be the brain. This would be the cat. The 6 and the 8. The mind and the body. 8 and 5 is 8 and 5 is 14. Makes 5. Your mind is in your mind of 14 in 5. Of the birth of 9, of man of 6. So now you become 6 and 5. 5 times 6 is 30. 5 plus 6 is 11, is 41. 41 is Go in Monopoly. And Go in Monopoly is where we are right now. It's 40, 41, 42. And the Baltic is number 43 in the dice. The Baltic seems to be running the Earth's minds, but they're running out of Germany also, because Germany's numbers are 7, 5, and 9, and 7, 5 means you have the 7th gate to the 5 mind of the 9 birth. So we're running something out of the Baltic, and Hiroshima or Fukushima or whatever's going on right now, it all has to do with mind control. We're from another planet. We come here, we're born into these bodies, and just before when we come out of the body, we're sitting with God and we're saying, what's going on? And God says, look, 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 you're being born. Oh, fuck, yeah. Wow, man, what do I look like? What do I look like? And then at the age of 2, 3, 4 years old, you jump into your own body and you start going. You remember everything because you've been watching yourself, because your eyes are in the eyes of the eyes. If you see the reflection of my eyes on the camera, and the cats have a reflection that reflect, but yet when you take a picture, we all get red eye, you don't think there's another camera that's inside that must see out? When you take a picture of yourself on certain angles, you're getting the truth of red eye, which is a one spirit taking a look at you and everything you're looking at. Raphael 7286 in the constellation of Pegasus. I want to thank you for watching this video. Time comes short. Now, I don't know if anything is real, but I'm seeing it right now, and I saw it this week. I was heavy into it, and tonight I don't believe it at all. The waterworks around the world, the electric company around the world, well, guess what? We've already stepped into position number 21, and it doesn't look good. This is just a book I'm writing. It means absolutely nothing. But the truth is, the numbers don't lie. And unless I didn't read them properly, then the truth is only as good as my readings. Thank you for watching. In the year 5775 and the year 2021, pleased to meet you. Actually, it's 2019. Going into 2020. But 2019 ends the cycle. How do I know? Nibiru, 7th inning stretch, 7th gate. Nibiru is number 73, 37, 21, and 10, 31. 31 and 5 is 36. We now met the meter. The meter has run out, and it's time to run the gates. The gates are up, and when the horses come out, they're going to blast. Thank you for watching this video.